Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency keep cutting into the federal budget.
How lawmakers and federal judges are now fighting back against what some are calling an existential threat to our system of government.
Plus, schools in our area are facing budget shortfalls. How one district is looking to save money by making the week shorter.
And we're still seeing temperatures much cooler today than yesterday after a front came through yesterday. But rain chances on their way back up tonight and tomorrow. I'll tell you about that in your first warning weather.
In-depth, investigative. This is KXAN News at Noon.
One local school district is giving its students' families a chance to weigh in tonight on a big change that could come because of budget constraints. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. I'm Will Dupree.
I'm Avery Travis. The Liberty Hill Independent School District will hold a town hall where discussions could focus on moving to a 4-day school week. The district is putting forward that plan to possibly shorten the week during the next school year. District leaders say this would give teachers and staff more planning opportunities, as expected budget cuts could put more responsibilities on their plates. They're also talking about possibly providing childcare for parents on that extra day of school.
The town hall begins at 6 this evening and goes until 8 o'clock. It will happen at Tierra Rosa Elementary School. That's on Santa Rita Boulevard in Liberty Hill. Also happening tonight, the Wimberley ISD Board of Trustees will consider calling for a $135 million bond election in May. According to a district task force, the money would be used to upgrade several facilities. In its report, the task force pointed to, quote, the strain caused by aging buildings and the pressures of enrollment growth over the past decade. Friday does mark the last day that a district can call for a bond election. You can explore which other districts will hold elections in May. KXAN's digital data reporter Christopher Adams is tracking all of that for us online at KXAN.com.
We want to check back in over at the state capitol. We are giving you a live look from where the Senate Finance Committee is meeting. They are slated to discuss how much the state is going to spend on public education. On today's agenda is funding for the Texas Education Agency, or the TEA, the teacher retirement system, the school for the blind and visually impaired, the school for the deaf, and the school district that serves students in our state's correctional facilities.
Central Texas parents have some questions about a plan to use taxpayer dollars to pay for private school tuition. This all comes after the Texas Senate accelerated its version of a bill to do just that.
KXAN investigator Kelly Wiley reports from Cedar Park, where community members met with lawmakers and public school leaders about the potential change.
On Super Bowl Sunday, parents and grandparents packed into the sanctuary at Live Oak Unitarian Universalist Church. It wasn't for service or to watch the game, but to ask questions about school choice, a program on its way to becoming law after passing easily in the Senate.
If we're going to provide a voucher program, if we're going to give state funds to private schools, are we going to make sure that they also have to provide special ed services? Are we going to make sure that they also have to provide transportation?
I'm concerned about school funding. This thing could just mushroom and get blown out of control, because at what point do they decide that they've achieved enough choice?
It's a discussion happening across the state as Governor Abbott promises this session he will pass legislation creating what's called education savings accounts. On her work break, Texas public school parent Shanara Morrison told us she believes the bill would help her find the best environment for her son.
We went to public schools, charter schools, tried to do things on our own, and it just, didn't quite work out, despite whether I have the money or not. I still want to make sure that he's well taken care of, educational-wise.
If Senate Bill 2 were to become law, it would give participating students anywhere from $2,000 to $11,500. The law also lays out a plan for if the number of applications for education savings accounts exceeds the number of available spots. SB 2 would require a lottery where 80% of the available spots would be filled by public school students who are either from low-income households or who have a disability.
I don't want it to pass, but should it pass, I hope that what the state of Texas will do is respond to the need that happens actually at the public school level, so that we are not decimating public schools.
Why not? Why not? Why? That's my real question. Why not? even if it's for a trial period. Why can't we even just give it a try and see, and let's go based off results?
That's investigator Kelly Wiley reporting. The panel at that Cedar Park church included Texas State Representative Vicki Goodwin and the Georgetown ISD superintendent. In an interview with KXAN, Representative Goodwin says she was not convinced Governor Abbott had the votes in the House to secure school choice. Take a listen.
I think it's interesting that he says he has the votes. I think there's still some opposition to vouchers. I think there's still some of the rural Republicans that want to support their public schools.
Going in depth, many school districts in Central Texas are facing budget deficits and having to make some tough cuts. Eanes ISD recently closed a school and cut a Spanish immersion program, while Leander ISD is talking about cutting teaching positions. In the last legislative session, Governor Greg Abbott tied education savings accounts to a bill that would increase school funding. However, that did ultimately not pass. Many school districts are hoping to receive more funding this session.
Now, first warning weather with meteorologist Freddie Fela.
We take a look at current conditions right now. 49 degrees in Austin, only up 1 degree over the past hour. 46 in Dripping Springs, the same out towards Fredericksburg, Llano. 44 in San Saba and Mason. Lampass is currently at about 43 degrees, while out towards the south, we're looking at about 51 in San Marcos and 50 degrees in Lockhart. Cloudy conditions continue and are expected to continue throughout the day. A bit of drizzle expected to pick up as well, but this is a live look out of our Southeast Austin camera at the Circuit of the Americas. Again, just pretty much just clouds pretty much everywhere you look at this point. As we look out towards the rest of the day today, temperatures could make their way back up to around 58 degrees. Do I think it's going to get there? It's going to struggle to make it to that point, looking more like 55 compared to 58, but we'll leave that on there for now, as you could continue to see drizzle off and on throughout the day. As we get into the overnight hours, that's when we expect for rain chances to pick up, especially as we lead into Tuesday, and then again Tuesday night going into Wednesday. Those are going to be our best chances of rain overall. So coming up, we're going to be discussing the temperature roller coaster we've been dealing with, some of the showers that are expected for tonight into tomorrow, and then we have a pair of fronts that are going to be arriving. One will help us out and one will drive down our temperatures again. That's all coming up in your first warning weather.
Thanks, Freddie. As Elon Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency continue to push for sweeping cuts across key federal agencies, Democrats are pushing back. They say Americans are looking at an existential threat to our system of government.
Federal judges have put some of the advisory commission's actions on pause, even as President Trump says that the team will keep going. Already, Elon Musk and that team have shuttered parts of major agencies. One of the hardest hit, USAID, or the U.S. Agency for International Development. DOGE operators have also been given access to key payment systems at the Treasury. Lawsuits have put some of those actions on hold for the time being. Musk says that next up is the Department of Education, which President Trump already promised to shut down.
On Sunday, President Trump indicated Musk would also be recommending cuts at the Defense Department. The White House and Republicans say the massive cuts to spending are what the president campaigned on. But Democrats warn the system is not designed to handle that kind of action, especially so fast.
We have to solve the efficiency problem. We have to solve the fraud, waste, abuse, all the things that have gone into the government.
This is a red alert moment when this entire country has to understand that our democracy is at risk. And for what? The billionaire takeover of government.
A federal judge will also hold a hearing today on the legality of those federal job buyouts. So far, the White House says about 60,000 federal workers accepted those buyouts before a judge paused the deadline last week.
Today, President Donald Trump is expected to announce 25% tariffs on steel and on aluminum. He spoke to reporters about it on Air Force One while he was flying to Sunday's Super Bowl. During that flight, he also signed a proclamation to make yesterday Gulf of America Day. Coming up this week, drivers should watch out for a major change on MoPac, how the closure could impact some people's commute for months.
And a wrestling star reflects on his journey before he's set to take the stage in Cedar Park.
Let's go and take a live look right now to our KXAN studios over downtown, looking absolutely beautiful right now with all the cloud coverage. Of course, I'll have more on what to expect in just a moment. However, All Elite Wrestling is making its return to Austin this week with AEW Dynamite going on at the H-E-B Center in Cedar Park. I spoke with AEW star Dustin Rhodes earlier today to learn just a bit more. Happening this week in Austin, AEW Dynamite is making its return here. And here to talk to us a bit more about the show is a wrestling legend and icon, AEW star, the natural Dustin Rhodes. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me, man.
Dustin, I have to ask you, Dynamite this week, it's a big show for you.
Yep.
You confronted MJF about the way he was talking to some of the people and how he was talking about some of the other stars. Talk to us about this feud that's going on and what to expect.
Well, Max is, MJF has been around since the beginning of AEW, like myself, but I've got 37 years experience, and he talks a great game. He gets into people's heads, and you got to really have some thick skin and around Max, because he will use everything against you. And, him just picking on people that are not here anymore with us, like the late, great Owen Hart, and stuff like that, just kind of stuck in my craw a little bit. And so, I had to do what I had to do to confront Max, because he's kind of stepped over the line a little bit.
And you two going head to head at the show.
First time ever.
First time ever, really. So how does it feel? Obviously, both of you, you're a current Ring of Honor tag team champ. He's had the heavyweight title before. Yep. What is it like? What's that mentality you got to go through to get there?
So for me, it's just, I was born into this business, with my dad and my brother and stuff like that. I always wanted to be a pro wrestler. It's grit, it's passion, I love the business. 37 years, 5 decades. Is still hanging with the young kids as best I can, and Max is one of those. And I just have a feeling that in Austin, man, my backyard, there's going to be some fireworks going on, so it's going to be fun.
I like that you brought that up. This is your backyard. Right now, as I mentioned, Ring of Honor tag team champ with another Texas native, Sammy Guevara. Ring of Honor World Six-Man tag team champ with Marshall and Ross Van Erich. And yet recently,
my boys.
Recently you said you have a good 3 years left in you. So what do you want to accomplish left in the time you have as a wrestler?
So 37 years, man, I've wrestled just about everybody that has been in the business. It's truly amazing. I'm very blessed to continue to still, be in shape at 55, almost 56 years old. I'm having fun, and it's just it's great to be with these younger kids. I know the Von Erich's dad very well, Kevin, and for us to win the six-man titles in front of Kevin in Dallas almost a year ago was really, really special. A special night for those kids, I know, because I've been in the ring with my father and tagged with him. I mean, I've just done so much. Is there anything left to prove? Yes, absolutely. I still want to be world champion, and I'm going to do my best, within the next 3 years to finally win a world title, because everybody in my family's already had one, right? So I need it.
We're almost out of time, but I do want to talk about this. AEW, this isn't the only stop you guys are making. You mentioned Dallas, All In taking place. Talk to us about that as well.
July, I mean, that's our biggest, it's going to be the biggest show to date, I think. And, Arlington's such a special place. The Texas Rangers, man, just going up there and doing PR for the show. It's going to be fun. It's electric, a lot of fireworks. The one thing we do better than anybody in the world is put on pay-per-views. And All In is going to be, no exception. It's going to be kick butt.
So before I let you go, give us the details one more time of All Elite Wrestling Dynamite this week.
It's Dynamite tomorrow night. Showtime starts at 7 o'clock. We will tape it, and we'll be on live Wednesday night, on the usual time. So
awesome.
Please come out, join us, man. It's going to be a heck of a night of pro wrestling.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll be out there. All Elite Wrestling star Dustin Rhodes, thank you so much for joining us
today.
Thanks,
brother. Appreciate you.
Some fun background there on his story.
Yeah, to see his journey and what he's done. You know, he was originally in a different company as a different character, and then of course now as the Natural. His brother has gone on to do some really great stuff as well, but he's part of that legacy, that Rhodes legacy, and he has a school here in Austin where he's training that next generation of talent. So to see all that, and of course if you're interested in going to the show, awtix.com is a place you want to go for that. So
you announcing?
I'm not announcing. I lost my voice, obviously, because I was ring-announcing this past weekend for another wrestling company. But, you know.
Oh, were you really? Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Our resident announcer.
I'll have to share that with you guys sometime.
Do your thing.
Oh, no,
I
can't even right now, not even with my voice the way it is.
Once those cords heal, we want to hear it. Yeah.
I'll get it ready. But you know, Valentine's coming up at the end of this week. I hope everyone is ready for that. And if not, here's a look at what you can expect. If you're already making plans for Friday, we're looking at temperatures at around 62 degrees. Partly cloudy skies. It is going to be nice and cool. But don't forget, we do have another front that'll come in Saturday going into Sunday, and that'll drive down our temperatures once again. But partly cloudy. Can't complain about that. Temperatures will be just right to be out and about across Central Texas. Here's a look at your satellite and radar. At this point, still cloudy conditions, a little bit of drizzle popping up here and there, but as far as rain, that's not coming down across the central portion of Texas itself. You got to go north, you got to go west, and you got to go down towards the south to even get any type of measurable rainfall whatsoever. Texas temperatures as well, still in the 30s out towards Lubbock and Midland, 60s as you get out towards El Paso. Dallas at 42, 66 in Corpus, and Brownsville now up to 83 degrees. The front became stationary as it started going down towards the south, became just north of the Rio Grande Valley, and that's why they're still in the 80s and everyone else is nice and cool. 54 degrees for tonight, but this is what we're going to be watching. 50% chance of rain picking up, winds coming in from the north-northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. So let's play out the rest of the day. Still seeing that possibility of a little bit of drizzle, maybe an isolated shower or two. As we get out towards the overnight hours, that's when the rain chances really start to ramp up, giving it a 50% chance there. And as we get out towards Tuesday morning at around 8 a.m. could see some heavier showers come in, and that'll continue as we get out towards Tuesday midday. Then things will start to calm down just a bit and then pick up once again as we get out towards Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, where we could see some heavier showers roll back one more time. Temperatures on a bit of a roller coaster here, heading back up, then back down once again as we get out towards Thursday. A front coming in Wednesday. If it comes in a little earlier, expect a cooler day. If it comes in a little later, expect a warmer day where we could even reach up to 80 degrees before we drop down again. And then we start to rise as we get out towards Saturday into Sunday. There comes the cooler weather once again. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. 62 for Tuesday, 77 as we get out towards Wednesday. But again, it depends on what happens with that front. As we get into Thursday, around 47 degrees. By the time we get into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we're looking at temperatures there expected to move back up before another front comes in. Let's go and send it over to Rich Siegel with a look at NOAA's role.
We explained in the first hour some of the things that NOAA does. NOAA stands for the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. We talked about how we use their forecasts in helping to compose ours. We use that in conjunction with other models and some of the agencies that fall under the umbrella of NOAA. Well, a few other things that they do. Most specifically, they provide climate information. The scientists using knowledge-based information to help us plan better for the climate. They look at long-range temperature and rain predictions. Also, this is the agency that worked with a few other agencies to determine those billion-dollar disasters that we had in 2024. There were about 27 of them, but perhaps two, just as important as anything else, is they provide educational training for schools. And so one of the other things that they do, and it's coming up pretty quickly here with the spring storm season about to start, why they will be providing seminars on spring storms. We have one coming up in Austin in March that we'll be talking more about. So who uses NOAA and who does NOAA support? Commerce and industry, emergency management officials. Actually, NOAA is a friend for all of us, and that is a little bit about the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Will?
Rich, thanks so much for that. Coming up, restaurants are feeling the impact of rising egg costs, how it's affecting one of our local businesses that relies on eggs to stay open.
Your breakfast may be costing you more.
And one local food truck is left scrambling to find some relief. Eggs are the main ingredients in their dishes. It's in their name. Eglari is an Indian food truck in Austin. The business, which makes Indian cuisine, says it can go through 300 to 400 eggs during just one weekend. Finding that supply has been challenging, though, lately.
It is a lot more than what we used to pay for, but also we have to go multiple times because sometimes we are not able to get it, and now I have to make 2 or 3 runs just to get those eggs, you know.
Experts are blaming the recent bird flu outbreak for taking out more than 145 million chickens in the last 3 years, driving up egg prices and creating a shortage in supply in many areas. Coming up, sanctuary cities are suing the Trump administration over threats that they will lose funds because of that status. Why they claim Trump's order is illegal.
Concern over the condition of several Israeli hostages. The prime minister's response during a fragile ceasefire.
In-depth, investigative. This is KXAN News at Noon.
Welcome back, everyone. A construction closure scheduled to start this week in North Austin could impact people's commute for the next few months.
KXAN's Mercedes Hernandez joins us now live here in the studio with more about these changes. Mercedes, I think people hear about a closure, they might get a little worried, so let's talk about where this is focused.
Yeah, I have no problems with anybody getting a little worried when it comes to road closures. I know that makes my ears perk up and me a little nervous, but this is going to be the southbound lanes of Mopac at Steck Avenue. That exit right there. That exit will be closed as work continues on the 183 North project. The Central Texas Regional Mobility Authority is doing this construction. It's building 2 toll lanes and an additional free lane along 183 between Mopac and 45. I reached out to CTRMA for a comment about the construction going into this week. It had this advice for drivers. They told me that the most important thing is for drivers to slow down and pay attention to the signage already in place and to adhere to speed limits in the construction zone for the safety of drivers and crews. Never bad advice, even if there's no construction around.
Absolutely.
Yes, a good reminder there for sure. Okay, how long will that exit be closed for?
Yeah, so CTRMA estimates that this closure will be anywhere from 2 to 3 months, but as for the entire project, that will be done sometime next year. So a few weeks to go for this one.
Okay, so everybody pay attention to that, but also let's talk about what time of day will these closures be affecting people out there?
Yeah, so thankfully nothing during rush hour, it looks like. They'll be overnight starting from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m., but you still want to go ahead and plan your routes accordingly just in case. And again, that construction starts on the 13th. So you still got a couple more days, get your planning ahead, get your routes figured out, maybe print out some maps, old school it. So
some MapQuest versions.
Yeah, exactly.
Back there. Mercedes, thanks for tracking this for us.
Thanks for having me.
First warning weather.
All right, let's take a live look outside over the Covington Cellars camera here. This is in High, Texas, and we are seeing raindrops on the camera.
All right, that too. And then we also are seeing those cool temperatures stick around even into this afternoon, Freddie.
Yeah, that's right. I wanted to show that camera because we've seen some of the drizzle popping around. I've been mentioning it as we looked at the different cameras, a lot of areas, not seeing that whatsoever. So I know there's been a few people that have been a little confused, like, okay, well, where's the drizzle? Well, there it was right there. Take a look at what we can expect not only today, but tomorrow and into Wednesday, where we could still see some showers. But temperatures on the rise. Even though today is going to be nice, by the time we get to Wednesday, temperatures will really start to move back up into the mid to upper 70s out there. As we were just showing you just moments ago from our Covington Cellars camera in High, Texas, the drizzle sticking around and starting to pick up in this one spot. Temperatures still at about 49 in Austin, 52 in San Marcos, and Fredericksburg at 47 as we get into Georgetown around 48, and then Bastrop at around 56 degrees. The clouds not going anywhere, sticking around, but the cooler weather, that's coming back, even though right now we're at least moving into the 50s. It's going to be your lows as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday. And then look how much cooler it'll be as we get out towards Thursday and Friday. 36, 37, that's early in the morning. Coming up, we're going to be talking about this temperature roller coaster that we're kind of on right now. I'll show you a different model on why we're seeing these up and down changes. The rain chances for today, and I have some updated numbers on how much we could actually see, and the fronts that are going to be arriving. That's all coming up in your first warning weather.
Thanks, Freddie. There's shock and outrage in Israel over the condition of 3 hostages released on Sunday.
This all renewed pressure on the Israeli prime minister to extend a fragile ceasefire in Gaza beyond the first phase. NBC's Yasmin Vasugian reports from Tel Aviv.
3 Israeli hostages released over the weekend, Or Levy, Ohad Ben Ami, and Eli Sharabi. We learned of some of what took place during their captivity. They were kept in those underground tunnels in Gaza, many of them chained as well. The Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, calling the images of the hostages shocking, saying that, in fact, there would be a quote-unquote response. Inside Gaza as well, the evacuation of the Netzarim corridor happened yesterday. The IDF was occupying the Netzarim corridor. Now Palestinians are able to move freely between the south and north of Gaza, which is integral to many of them who had evacuated to the south getting back to the north to see what is left of their homes, and also integral to making sure they are getting the humanitarian aid they desperately need. Talking about ceasefire negotiations, a delegation that was in Qatar over the weekend being called back to Israel today. We are also learning from local media that the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, is convening his security cabinet tomorrow to talk about phase 2 of these ceasefire negotiations. There is certainly concern, as we have heard across media, that both Qatari officials along with Hamas worried about the Prime Minister as to whether or not he's going to stick with this ceasefire. Nonetheless, convening that security cabinet tomorrow as we look ahead to next weekend with the release of even more Israeli hostages. Yasmin Vasugian, NBC News, Tel Aviv.
Today, a Hamas spokesperson said the group will delay the next planned release of hostages in the Gaza Strip after accusing Israel of violating the ceasefire agreement. This all comes as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu faces heavy pressure to bring home more hostages after last Saturday's release, where 3 Israelis, as we mentioned, came home emaciated after 16 months in Hamas captivity. Both sides have carried out 5 swaps since the ceasefire went into effect last month, freeing 21 hostages and more than 730 Palestinian prisoners. The next exchange, which is scheduled for this Saturday, called for 3 more Israeli hostages to be freed in exchange for hundreds of Palestinian prisoners. Defense Minister said that Hamas' plan to delay the next release of hostages was a, quote, complete violation of the ceasefire agreement, and that he instructed the Israeli military to be on the highest level of alert.
Cities in several American states are taking the Trump administration to court in the fight over their sanctuary status. President Trump has said the United States would cut money from communities that offer safe haven to undocumented migrants. Now, officials in Connecticut, Oregon, Washington State, and California have all filed suit. They argue the president's order is illegal, and they say the president does not have the power to cut those funds or the power to tell cities they must assist in federal immigration actions.
The federal government can't weaponize federal funding to bully us away from that commitment to trust and security.
The Trump administration has not commented on this latest lawsuit.
Going in depth now, back in January of last year, Texas Governor Greg Abbott announced that since 2022, the state had bused more than 100,000 migrants to cities like Washington, D.C. and Chicago. Our partners at the Texas Tribune report that by February of last year, the state has now spent more than $148 million on those busing efforts.
A federal court has ruled against the Trump administration, blocking it from sending 3 Venezuelan immigrants to Guantanamo Bay in Cuba from New Mexico. This is after a lawsuit from 3 different organizations. Yesterday, lawyers for the immigrants said the detainees fit the profile of those the administration has prioritized for detention in Guantanamo. This includes Venezuelan men detained in the El Paso area with false charges of connections to the Tren de Aragua gang.
Coming up, the Consumer Electronics Show showcases some tech that brings dead batteries back to life, keeps your packages safe, and so much more. We'll explain after this. Happy Monday, everybody, and thanks again for sticking with us here on KXAN News at noon. We are almost at 12:42 this afternoon and showing you a pretty rainy view there in High Texas. We'll get an update about what's in store for this week of roller coaster temperatures with Rich and Freddie in just a few moments.
Smart gadgets that make life easier, like technology to keep batteries recharged and growing plants in the comfort of your living room.
Sounds interesting. Rich DeMuro takes a look at the latest innovations at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas.
There's no shortage of innovation on display at CES 2025.
Such an exciting time to see what is new and next in technology, what we may have in hand, and the concepts that are a little bit further out into the future.
Olight is known for flashlights. Now they're tackling dead batteries with the O Station.
Rechargeable battery is very good for the environment, but the downside is that it's always very hard to use, to recharge them. You don't know if they're charged or not. So this one will take care of it.
Just drop your batteries in the top. It identifies the rechargeables and spits out the rest, keeping up to 32 batteries charged and ready to go. $120. Packages going missing? Not if you have Hive.
Last year, $12 billion worth of packages were stolen off of doorsteps, and Hive is a solution to secure packages and encourage waste-free deliveries from retailers.
Delivery personnel use a one-time code to unlock the box and drop the package inside. They can even snap a confirmation photo through a small window. Since it's locked, less packaging is needed. Available in June for $299. New parents know how exhausting those first few months can be.
A lot of mums suffer from burnout when they've just had a baby, and it's to do with how exhausted they get.
LV Rise hopes to help with a smart bouncer and bassinet in one.
When the baby's in a bouncer, mum knows that the baby's not really meant to go to sleep in that, but they know if they pick the baby up when it's nap time, it's going to wake up again. So we developed a bouncer that will transform into a bassinet.
And how about the concept of K-Cups, but for plants? Plantiform looks like a UFO landed in your living room.
You've heard of aeroponics. This is a more efficient version of both of those, originally developed by NASA to grow plants in space.
It uses fog to effortlessly grow fresh lettuce, herbs, and more.
The fog is delivering water and nutrients directly to the plant roots in a highly oxygenated environment that allows the plants to grow a little bit more quickly and a little bit more efficiently and much better yield because you don't have the roots sitting in soil that might be too wet.
Well, there's a lot to digest there.
Wow.
We were all leaning in at that last plant contraction.
What is that going to be? I feel like a lot of parents might pay attention to that one device that did the rocking and then also became a bassinet, combining two things. Really nice. I don't know.
I like the battery one where you can put on the batteries and it determines which ones are the rechargeable ones and which ones weren't.
Yeah,
that's
helps.
really cool.
Handy.
Interesting. Something else interesting is all the cloud coverage we've actually received. It's sticking around and not expected to go anywhere. Take a look right now. We've had a little bit of drizzle in certain spots. We showed you a couple cameras, including in High Texas. But other than that, it's just mostly going to be a cloudy day. Rain chances will start to increase as we get into the later part of the afternoon into the evening hours. We look at the rest of the state of Texas. A bit more rainfall out towards the west, out towards the north, and down towards the south. But as far as Central Texas itself, not seeing any heavy showers at this point. Current temperatures, 49 in Austin still, 47 in Dripping Springs, 49 in Marble Falls, 45 in Mason, and 45 out towards San Saba. Unless Austin makes a run for 58 degrees, which I don't think is going to happen, I think we're only reaching around 55, and that's like a maximum that I feel like we'll get. We only have, about 3 hours left to get there. That's a big jump in order to get to that point. So I don't think we're hitting that 58-degree mark. Let's play the rest of the day out. Overall, the clouds will stick around. A few of the showers will pick up as we get to around 11 p.m. Then we see heavier showers overnight, especially as we get to about 8 a.m. That's when you see some of the heaviest rainfall starting to move across. We'll get a few more heavy showers as we get to about noon, and then things should come down by about 5 before they pick up one more time around midnight for a majority of us, where we could see some of the heavy showers move through. Rest of the day, I still have that 58 in there, but again, I think it's just going to be 55, 55, 55 all the way down. I don't expect us to even get close to 60 degrees by the afternoon. Rain chances are expected to really move up tonight and really last with us through Wednesday morning. By the time we get to around Wednesday 1 p.m., things are going to start clearing out. You get a bit of sunshine once again. As we get into Thursday, it'll get warmer overall. So let's play this out and one of the reasons why. So we have all these showers that are moving through. A front will come in, clear things out as we get out towards Wednesday midday. We have drier air that'll filter through. And then once we get out towards the weekend, another front expected to come in. That front bringing another round of cooler air overall, and that'll drive our temperatures back down once again. As far as the amount of rainfall, we could actually receive about 1/4 of an inch to 3/4 of an inch from the metro out towards the west. And then if you're from the metro out towards the east, we're looking about 1/2 inch of rain to about 1 1/4 inches. But again, those are estimates. We could see more, especially around the metro getting out towards Dripping Springs. 7-day forecast up to 77 by Wednesday. That front comes and drives our temperatures back down. 47 by Thursday. Valentine's Day will look great around 62, which is around average. And then another front Saturday going into Sunday. Let's go and take a look at national weather with Rich.
All right, here are current temperatures across the lower 48. We still have single digits bottled up in Montana, Wyoming, South and North Dakota, Minnesota. 49 here. 82 Miami is one of the warmer temperatures across the country. We don't really have much going on. A line of snow reaching into or a band of snow reaching into southwestern Colorado. A few showers in New Mexico. We've got some snow that is falling across parts of heavier snows in the southeastern South Dakota in the Sioux Valley. We have that snow extending into Minnesota, Iowa, and Nebraska. In this darker shade of blue, we're seeing some moderate to heavy snow that extends from around the Kansas City area on over to St. Louis. It's a rather narrow band, and we're still seeing some snow through the Great Lakes region on into some of New York and the western part of New England. We're still not looking at too many travel issues here. At 3 o'clock, we're looking at all green at major reporting airports that would indicate no delays at all. We fast forward to 6 o'clock, and we may see with a little bit of snow increasing, there could be a few delays in Minneapolis or Omaha, and that will continue on into the evening. And that's pretty much a nice travel day across the lower 48, but always check with your air carrier for those potential delays. Avery?
Thanks, Rick. Still to come, a look at some fan favorites who dropped by a Mardi Gras parade in Florida over the weekend.
And one state's National Guard had the chance to take a break from their duties to watch the Super Bowl Sunday. The organization that put this all together coming up after this. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on KXAN. At 7 o'clock, it's The Voice, followed by the hunting party at 9. And join us back here for KXAN News at 10.
All right, welcome back, everybody. South by Southwest starts in just about a month here in Austin, and coming up tomorrow, the conference will unveil its 30 keynotes and featured speakers. The festival is also looking for volunteers to run stage crew, sessions, and tech crew. They're going to have a sign-up session on Thursday afternoon at the South by headquarters. Details on where that is and when over on our website, KXAN.com. And remember, South by runs from March 3rd to March 15th.
Turning now to some fun elsewhere in the U.S. One of the carnival season's most adorable parades took place in Pensacola Beach, Florida, called the Kids and Critters Parade. Just like in the name, children and their pets took to the streets in their costumes and on decorated wagons. Marvelous Mardi Gras was this year's theme, with guest appearances from Superman, Superwoman, Batgirl, and even Elvis Presley. And a goat dressed as a pirate. Oh wait, no, that's not a goat, that's a lamb.
A lamb?
A sheep.
Cutie.
A sheep dressed as a pirate.
I could watch this all day. Love that. The California National Guard held a Super Bowl party, like many of us, on Sunday, but it was more than just to watch the big game. It was also a celebration for their incredible work during the recent wildfires. The California National Guard was immediately deployed to help victims and first responders in those deadly wildfires, where 12 people were killed and thousands of homes and businesses destroyed, specifically in the Pacific Palisades area. As you're hearing here, lots of joy as they got to kick back and rest and watch that game. For one organizer, he says it offers just a glimmer of hope during a difficult time for the state.
We evacuated this very street that night and drove with fire on the side of us at 6 o'clock at night. That's the sadness. But this is the joy. This is the joy of seeing these amazing, amazing soldiers here to protect us and just having such a great time together.
These troops have been stationed in the area for more than 30 days. That's longer than their typical deployment. And he says they really want troops to know that they're appreciated and that they support them as they continue to work towards rebuilding in the area. So I'm glad they got a minute to just enjoy.
Yeah, so many examples of great community coming together and helping out. Yeah.
Of course. Let's go and take a look one more time at what to expect over the next couple of days. Today, I did lower that high, dropping it down to about 55 degrees as we look out towards Tuesday. We're looking at about 62 degrees, and by Wednesday, around 77 degrees. The best chance of rain is going to be tonight, going into tomorrow, and then tomorrow going into Wednesday. As we look at your 7-day forecast, temperatures heading back up to around 77 by Wednesday. That front comes in. That'll drive down our temperatures. Thursday morning down to 36 degrees. And then Valentine's Day, we're looking at about 62 degrees. And with the front coming in Saturday going into Sunday and driving our temperatures back down once again. You know, a lot of places always like to do these, you know, where you name like a bug after your ex.
Yes.
So I know we've run some stories about that. You know, maybe a good week to do that.
Or just maybe focus on the positive too.
You never know.
You know, if you want to just throw your shade to your ex, I support that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And so overall, I think now that we've left the Super Bowl behind, now we look forward to wrestling, All Elite Wrestling, which if you guys saw my interview is with Dustin Rhodes. That'll be online at KXAN.com. Check that out. It's going to be a really great event tomorrow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
A lot of fun for people out there. So thank you all for your updates today, and we will see you all back here in about 30 minutes with another update on news and weather. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Take care.